This is Deepak, Functional Consultant, Microsoft Dynamics, Finance and Supply Chain, and I'm an MCP, Microsoft Certified Professional. So today in this video blog, I'm going to discuss about the TDS, that is tax deducted at source. So we have heard this TDS concept associated with the vendors only, but in Dynamics 365, we can also record the TDS, that is tax deducted at source, by the customers. Let's say if customer has deducted the TDS on invoice or advance payments, whichever is earlier. So that can be recorded in the Dynamics 365. That company can record that TDS deducted by customer to track that TDS and take the benefit in future. So before going to the Dynamics 365 screen, let's understand the legality of this TDS deducted by the customers. So first, we'll discuss about the Indian Income Tax Act 1961, what it says. So according to the Indian Income Tax Act 1961, it says there are certain payments defined by the Finance Act or IT Act that requires to deduct TDS by the payer. The customer deductor must provide a TDS certificate to the recipient, that is deductee, to the company. So who needs to calculate and track the TDS on the invoices or revenues or the advance payment also, so whichever is earlier. So let's understand based on the deductee's point of view and deductor point of view, what is the roles of deductors and what is the roles of deductee to configure and to track this TDS. So if we talk about the deductors, so in this case deductor is the customers who deduct the TDS from the company's invoices or payments. So when customer make payment to the company, he may deduct TDS if it is not deducted on the invoice earlier. So the deductor's role is to deduct the TDS first thing, and this TDS is to be submitted to the government. And to deduct this TDS on the company's invoices or advance payment, for this the customer has to provide a TDS certificate to the companies to deduct the TDS on its payment or invoices. Now let's understand the deductee's role. What is the deductee's role in this case? So the deductee's role we'll talk about. So calculate the TDS. So they calculate the TDS on the customer's invoices or payments and track that TDS. So they maintain the records of the TDS deducted by the deductors, and in future they claim their credit of this using the form 26 AS or TDS certificate to claim credit for the tax deducted. Okay, so let's jump to the dynamic screen and see how it functions. So before that we'll do a small configurations on this. So the configuration is, first configuration is under the in tax module we have the withholding tax codes. So in this withholding tax code, so this the TDS is defined. Let's say this TDS is associated to the customer's payment. So there are certain rates defined by the central government. So that TDS rates will be deducted on that rate only. So let's say if this TDS is for applicable for customers and vendors also, so we can configure it in both the ways. If it is for the vendor TDS, then we'll mention here the expense ledger. This is the ledger. I'm hovering over this and showing the ledger name. So this is basically a TDS expense ledger, and this is the receivable account, TDS receivable account. So this receivable account will be hit in case of the customer's TDS. So for this TDS main account, the posting type of this main account should be the withholding tax. That is a mandatory requirement. So this is the first configuration that we have to do, and we have to define the rate also. Okay. Now the second important configuration is on the customer master. We have to map this TDS. So currently, like we map the for vendors, we map the TDS on vendor master. Similarly, we have to map the TDS on customer master. So here you see under invoice and delivery tab, we have to enable this calculate withholding tax and map this TDS group. Now there may be two scenarios. First, in case of the advance payment where TDS is deducted by the customer, and invoices where that can be deducted by the customers. So first I am demonstrating you using the invoice, how invoice it will be deducted. So I have already created one, let me create one more. I am selecting the same customer, and here I am giving a main account, that is the revenue account. This is the income. I am mentioning some amount. So if you see, the withholding tax boolean is enabled since TDS is applicable on this, so it is enabled. So you can see the TDS withholding tax amount is this. So based on the TDS rate, we'll define the rate here, and then TDS will be deducted on this amount. So this is TDS is deducted. Let me post this invoice. So after posting, I'll show you the what is the voucher impact of this, which ledger is to be hit for the TDS receivable. So this TDS is receivable is used only for tracking purpose, and which will be used in future by the company to take the benefit against that tax. It is posted now. Now let me go to the invoice journal. So this is my invoice that is posted. Now I'll go to the vouchers. What is the financial impact? So this is if you see, this is not yet coming. So there is one more feature that we have to, because there is a batch job in Dynamics 365, that is synchronous and asynchronous. So this entry is parked to the subledger entry is not yet transferred. From here we have to transfer it. It is transferred based on certain time and batch. So just to show you, I have just transferred it manually. Now I'll go to the invoice journal. So here this is the invoice that I posted of the 10,000. I'll go to this voucher. So here if you see the voucher, I have posted 10,000. There was a 2,000 was the TDS. So that TDS has come under the TDS receivable, not TDS payable ledger. So since this TDS is on the customer, so that it will come under the TDS receivable ledger, and the TDS trade receivable is debited with the 8,000, and my income is credited with the 10,000 only. So this is the first financial impact. Let's say if there is an advance payment, so on advance payment that TDS should also be deducted. Let me create one advance payment against this. I'll select the same customer, test customer. Invoice reference is there. Let me, okay. So this is the advance payment to customer. So this customer is created. Let me debit my bank account. This this one, let me select it. Okay, so on this customer I can see the withholding tax, it is enabled, so the TDS is applicable, so TDS is also applicable on this. So assuming this is the advance payment to this against this customer, this customer has made an advance payment to the company. So since we have the concept called TDS will be deducted based on the invoice or payment whichever is earlier. So this is scenario 2 that we are covering here. Now let me pause and show you the financial impact of this advance payment also. Yeah, so it is posted. Now let's go to the voucher. So here in the vouchers on advance payment, if you see, my bank is debited with 8,000 because 2,000 TDS has been deducted, and this is at my TDS receivable. And trade payable, again it was deducted, means neglected with the 10,000 only. So this is the voucher entry. So this is the two scenario that we have covered. So that's it for the blog. So to follow me more such videos and contents, since I write the blogs on the community also, so you can follow me LinkedIn on this profile. Thank you so much.